Welcome to Tell Me a Story. Today's tale will introduce you to a cruel world full of dark magic, an empire ruled through corruption, and a chance to save it all with a god's favour. This is the world of Dishonored. The Isles are a grim place. Once barbaric lands, its people only achieved peace after centuries of war and turmoil. The modern era began with the Great Burning. A nomadic cult roamed the lands, scorching everything and everyone who didn't join their numbers. Their goal was simply to spread chaos, to tear down the growing cultures of the Isles, all in the name of the mysterious black-eyed man they called the Outsider. Many cults and tyrants plagued the Four Kingdoms before reaching a state of stability in the 1600s. Tivia, Morley, Serconus and Gristle made up the modern world, but that stability was already starting to fracture. Each kingdom produced resources the rest relied upon, but more often than not, they were unwilling to share. These growing tensions and increasing desire for domination made the monarchs set their sights upon their equally desperate neighbours. The message soon became clear. Ready or not, war would come for all, and it would only end when one ruled the Isles. Gristle was at the heart of the war, surrounded by its enemies. But fortunately for them, they had prepared well, and had built the largest navy the Isles had ever seen. With no chance of victory, Tivia quickly surrendered. They were shortly followed by Serconus, after its own nobility turned against itself. The last kingdom left fighting was Morley. They were fierce, independent, and strong, but ultimately they were overwhelmed by the might of the new empire. Its victor was Finlay Morgengard, crowned in 1625. Even in times of peace, darkness lurks. The cults of the old world have survived the test of time. Their magic stains the hearts and minds of many. One such group is called the Envisioned. They spend days staring into the void, and the Outsider gazes back. The black-eyed man had never been predictable, his true desires rarely known. The void is his realm, a place of chaos, power, and disorder. Nothing there makes sense, which has only driven the mortals to want to learn more and wield the powers it has to offer. In ancient times, the Outsider was merely an orphan boy, roaming the streets of a forgotten world. He was taken, tortured to the point of madness, even forgetting his own name. Then his throat was cut with a twin-bladed knife, at a place where the boundaries of the void and his world were at their weakest. The boy drifted from his world to the other, and became a god, controlling the dark magics of his new realm. He had no masters, no responsibilities, and yet hundreds worshipped him all the same. They prayed for power, his power, to be touched by the void and bring it to the Isles, but not many were given the Outsider's mark. The lucky few had something in common. They were all of interest to the Outsider. At a key point in history, the start of a new war, the end of an era, each time the Outsider revealed himself, he gave his mark to those who could tip the course of history one way or the other, after which he would enjoy seeing the world forever changed because of his influence. Through chaos, there came order, another faction to oppress the people, the Abbey of the Everyman, a militaristic religion who had declared war on the Outsider and all who worshipped him. They want to control the citizens of the Isles, and would do so by any means necessary. Founded at the start of the 18th century, they gained support and popularity by helping the Empire quell rebellions where they could. Shortly after their founding, they embarked on a war against every other religion in order to unify the people against the Outsider. Their loyalty and strength were rewarded by being declared the Empire's official religion only a few years later. To this day, they hold influence in almost all aspects of life, most notably within the halls of Dunwall Tower and the very throne of the Empire itself. Wherever you look, the Abbey can be found. In every corner of the Isles, the Overseers will be punishing those who defy them. The Outsider's most recent chosen was born and raised in Serconus. Corvo Itano began his life with nothing, but he made a reputation for himself by proving his skills as an exceptional swordsman. His feats earned him an officer's rank in the Grand Serconan Guard and was eventually given to the Emperor as a diplomatic gift. Corvo didn't have any say in the matter, as his life was decided for him. Only 2 days into his journey north, he learned that his mother had died of illness, but he had left his old life behind and never got to see any of his family again. The Emperor's daughter, Jasmine Coldwin, chose Corvo to be her protector. The two of them soon became lovers, an open secret within Dunwall Tower, but no one dared to confront the Lord Protector. After Jessamine had succeeded her father as Empress, she gave birth to Emily Coldwin. Corvo was the father. Despite this, he continued his duties as Jessamine's champion, spy, and protector. Jessamine's reign wasn't a peaceful one, facing more and more conflicts and intrigue. Cracks were starting to appear within the stability of the Isles, and despite her efforts, she was running out of options. From one scourge to the next, Dunwall now faced a rat plague. Hundreds were dying, and even the greatest minds of the Empire were finding it challenging to find a cure. The High Overseer and Lord Spymaster both argued that the city should be segregated to contain the outbreak, but Jessamine disagreed. She always tried to have the interests of everyone in mind, and refused to take extreme measures at this time. The Empress was growing desperate, so she sent Corvo across the Isles in hopes of finding a cure from one of the other kingdoms. However, the Royal Protector only returned with further bad news. No cure had been found, and the other kingdoms planned on blockading Dunwall if the outbreak became uncontrollable. Such times of hardship call for drastic measures, especially since things were about to get a whole lot worse. Corvo's tale will be told in the coming weeks, following the events of Dishonored. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to this new series. Please subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.